Welcome back to another training tip from the Refined Canine Dog Training. Today we are going to be going over engagement. Engagement is all about gaining your dog's implied attention. So without calling his name or asking him watch me or look at me, we want the dog fully engaged with you so that you can begin your training process. The very first thing to do with engagement is to check for your dog's favorite form of reinforcer. So this could be food, toys, praise, attention, tugs, play, whatever your dog loves to do. Remember, have patience and don't expect immediate results. In this video, I'm going to be going over my very first time working with this particular dog. So engagement should be very first on your list, not obedience. The equipment you're going to see here is a flat collar and a 5-foot leather leash. I'm also holding a bag of treats. So I'm going to let the dog do as he normally does. I'm going to allow pulling, barking, sniffing, whatever this dog wants to do. You can see here that my feet are planted, so you want to make sure that you try to stay as planted as possible when working with your dog. Patience is key during engagement. Whether or not you're working with your dog on the leash or alone, fenced in, and off leash, you need to have patience. Your dog's going to sniff and look around and pull and do everything that you normally want to teach your dog not to do. But right now, what we're looking for is waiting the dog out until he actively engages with you. So we're looking for either eye contact or looking in your direction. Right here, he goes ahead and gives me his very first moment of attention. So I go ahead and reinforce him, and here I'm going to be using food with this particular dog. As soon as I see this start to happen, I want to begin marking engagement by either using a verbal yes or the use of a clicker. Here you're going to hear me say yes, and then it's directly followed by his reinforcer. Don't worry about disengagement. If the dog disengages, he doesn't get anything here. So he's not getting a correction, he's not getting reprimanded. I go ahead and wait the dog out again until he re-engages me. So we're trying to teach the dog what we want to see. The socially acceptable behavior here is paying attention to the handler. When your dog is disengaged with you, it's really important not to call their name or use kissy sounds or try to encourage or bribe attention in any other way. That's going to create the dog being dependent on you asking for their attention when you're out in public or in other environments. It's perfectly acceptable for a dog that's normally allowed to roam around to offer some calming signals during this process, especially if we're doing this on a leash and they're not allowed to kind of move around. So what you'll see here is rapid successions of reinforcement because the dog is starting to engage more frequently. So it is very important to reward every single time the dog engages with you. So we're not using intermittent reinforcement here. We want to make sure that it's every single time. Patience definitely comes into play when the dog disengages, but you should wait for them to re-engage. Now what I'm going to do is add in a little bit of movement to see if the dog follows along and stays engaged with me, and I'm going to deliver those reinforcers. As soon as he disengages, I wait him out, I stand still, and then re-deliver the reinforcer as soon as he engages with me. This is the typical pattern of a very first engagement session and a very first encounter with the dog that comes to me for training on the ranch. So I do engagement before anything else, before obedience as well. So here you'll notice that the dog is putting the pieces together, which is great. Why do we need engagement? Because after our dogs learn to stay engaged with us, they won't be engaged with everything else around them. We don't have to continually ask them to watch us or look at us. And putting obedience and manners onto a dog who is already engaged becomes a very simple task to do. It is very important through the development of your dog that we do not skip over engagement. If you want the full, confident dog that's willing and able to be engaged with you, listen to your commands, follow manners, and act appropriately in public, it is important that you always begin with engagement. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow. And follow us on Instagram at Fulton Strong and Refined Canine LLC.